Hello, my name is Sophia, and today my project is going to be centering on queer horror and more specifically the queer coding and queerness of Scream. So, to start off, many people interpret things differently, and that's, what life is about. Not everyone will have the same opinion as you, and this topic that I'm doing kind of does have different opinions because a lot of people don't think that there's any queerness in the first Scream, but some people do. So, okay, so to start off, queer coding of Scream in 1996. So, Stu and Billy are seen as queer by many people. The way the camera focuses on Stu and Billy can show the connection one or the other has with one another. The camera is an important part in really understanding characters. To put more emphasis in the reading How to Read a Film, it states that we as the audience should not simply pay attention to what the movie is about or its characters, but rather to how they are presented by the camera. In the case of Scream 1996, many noticed the attention Stu and Billy had when they had scenes together. As you can see on the picture on the left, we can see that they are between one of their friends, which is Randy. But one can feel attention, I would say. We can also see the way that Stu is looking at Billy, which I would think is with a type of giddiness and longing. I can really understand why people think Stu or Billy can be queer. The way the camera focuses on them can show a much different and deeper meaning. So here. Now here, Stu always seems to be looking at Billy one way or another. I believe this encourages the audience into thinking that perhaps Stu and Billy are queer. They can have subtle looks or subtle touches that make them think that they can be quote unquote secretly queer, and there do seem to be a lot of clues hinting at the fact that they can be queer, or at least one of them can. Now, still focusing on the reading How to Read a Film, the directors shoot the movie a certain way. They set up the movie, or they set up the shot the way they want to, so nothing is ever really on accident. Only sometimes, but not most of the time. And as we can see once again on the shot on the left, it originally shows Stu, Billy, and Sydney, but if she gets cut out of the shot, which she is, we only have Stu and Billy, with Billy looking at, with Stu looking at Billy while Billy's talking to Sydney. And it seems that Stu really does not care about what he's talking about. He's just looking at him. So from this, we can see that Stu seems to be the one that wants to have a connection with Billy. He's always the one looking at him and always seems to initiate some sort of some sort of connection, some sort of touch, if you'll say. Now here, I have a clip from Scream 1996 from the killer reveal, and I'm going to skip to around 2 minutes because there we can see that how Stu is up against Billy's back. The way that he is towards him shows the closeness that they have. And one can also say that Stu seems to be the one that is more attracted to Billy than Billy is to Stu. Now I'm just going to show the clip here. Or to around 2 minutes. Just two.
You're crazy, both of you.
Yeah, you prefer the term psychotic.
We'll never get away with this.
I know. Tell that to Cotton Weary. Wouldn't believe how easy he was to frame. Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
No!
Oh, we know it.
Why? Why did you kill my mother?
Why?
Why?
You hear that, Stu? I think she wants some motive. I don't really believe in motive.
Okay, so I'm going to stop that there. So we can clearly see the tension that there is in this scene. I do believe that, it seems that Stu seems to be the one that initiates touch and initiate some sort of closeness with Billy. And I can really see why people believe that either one of them can be queer. So this is probably the scene that makes a lot of people talk. It's the one that makes a lot of people think that they can be queer. The way that the audience sees Stu and Billy is called the queer gaze, or in what we just did, queer coding. From the reading film spectatorship, queer gaze is when a queer person sees certain things in films and identifies it as queer. We have talked a lot about queer gaze in class, and it fits right into my topic. Most of the people who are part of the LGBTQ community do this because there isn't a lot of representation for them. So they watch movies and characterize characters or scenes as queer. And queer coding can be subtle, but many catch it since they want something to connect to. So this is the case in Scream 1996. So moving on. Here we have Kevin Williamson, and he is the screenplay writer of Scream 1996, and he is an openly gay man since 1992. In the article, it's canon that Billy and Stu are queer-coded. In Scream, he confirmed that the amorous relationship between Billy and Stu isn't just meme fodder, and is quite real. Having put more emphasis on this, in the article, it's canon that Billy and Stu are queer-coded in Scream 1996. The writer states, quote unquote, one of the reasons that one could get the other one to follow is because I think the other one was secretly in love with him. And it was sort of a fascinating case study on double murders. If you Google Leopold and Loeb, you will see, and you'll read about it, and you'll get, okay, that's Billy and Stu. And I do think that Stu seems to be the one that's quote unquote more in love with Billy. And Billy could have used that as an advantage to make him, kill with him. So we also watched a movie that was inspired by Leopold and Loeb, and in the movie it shows that it was about two gay men who killed a boy. And that is the inspiration Kevin Williamson took to create Scream. So confirming who the killers are based on can be a confirmation that Stu and Billy are queer. Even the main actress, Neve Campbell, has stated maybe some of their anger comes from not being allowed to be who they want to be, if you want to go there. And one can see that a lot of people, even the actors themselves, see the queer connection between Billy and Stu. Now moving on to the next. Now here we have a clip of a scary movie from 2000. This is a parody movie of horror films, and one film they used was Scream from 1996. And throughout the movie, we can see that a man, which is Ray, was a part of the friend group, of the main friend group in the movie, who acts gay, even though he has a girlfriend. Now the clip that I'm going to show, it shows that the killers did have some sort of connection, but only one seemed more into it than the other. So I will be showing clip now.
That's right, Cindy. I'm gay. And in case you haven't noticed, so is Ray.
What? I ain't gay.
What are you talking about? You took her to that club.
So they play good music.
What about our trip to San Francisco then?
I wanted to go shopping.
But you made love to me.
No, ho. First of all, you suck my...
Whatever, Ray. Okay, I don't want to talk.
And so from the segment in the movie of the movie Scream, it's not that different, only that it's clearly a lot more, I guess, sillier and dirtier. As I stated, throughout the movie, Ray acts gay even though he has a girlfriend. And although at the end we see that he claims not to be gay, they did a lot of quote-unquote gay stuff, I guess you could say. The other killer, which is this one, Bobby, he confirmed that he is gay and is very hurt that all the things that he and Ray did together meant nothing to him. And I do think that this reveal seems to be a little silly, because in a way it's saying what the original Scream movie couldn't for some reason. Scary movie shows that there has to be some type of actual queer connection between Stu and Billy. And I stated before, the writer of Scream confirmed that. But I guess during the mid-90s, queer cinema wasn't something that was created as much, so this reveal in the 2000s showed people what could have been in 1996. And it's kind of, I guess in a way, not really making fun of it, but kind of, since I guess a lot of people got that vibe in Scream 1996 that Billy and Stu could have been queer. So now, moving on.
That's right, Tim.
Here we have Scream 6 from 2023. Now, the sixth movie of the Scream movie, that's a mistake. Actually, the fifth movie of the Scream franchise had finally put a queer woman in the movie with her girlfriend, without it being as subtle as Scream 1996. So in Scream 1996, the queerness was seen as subtle, and people were the one that picked it up, rather than the creators putting something in there. And people only queer the movie since there wasn't actually any queer or gay couple in it. It wasn't something that is outright said. In the article, Scream has always been queer. The fifth entry makes it official. It states that this film has finally added a queer character to the franchise, and, even better, the actor is queer herself and a woman of color. This kind of representation is what people were looking for in the original 1996 movie, which is why they were queer coding it in the first place. And now that there is representation in this franchise, people can have a connection with it. It is also stated that Kevin Williamson described the movies as being quote-unquote coded in gay survival, so take that as you will. But once again, Mindy, which is this one right here at the bottom, she isn't just there for diversity, which unfortunately, in a lot of movies a while ago, that's the only reason that either a Black woman or a queer person was in the movie, for just diversity, but she isn't here just for that. She's here for her personality and her horror movie knowledge, which helps her friends throughout the film, which I think is pretty cool. Now in the fifth film, Mindy is seen making out with a girl at a house party, but that seems to be all the queerness in that movie. But in the sixth movie, she has a full-on girlfriend, and it is shown throughout the film. Now we're just going to, here we have some clips, or all the clips of Mindy and Annika in Scream 6. Now, even though there is queer representation, it's tragic. Their story ends up being tragic. And to me, it doesn't seem as the best representation and could have done better. But I don't think I have a say in it since I am not a part of the community, but I'll just show these little clips here.
Bother you? Being at a house party after you were almost brutally murdered at a house party? No, I think of it like being struck by lightning. The odds of it happening twice to the same person are extremely low. Oh.
So we're just gonna skip ahead to
Close to home. You gotta keep up. What's a weekend? You're beautiful, sweetie.
Most of queer cinema seems to be tragic. Think about Brokeback Mountain and My Private Idaho, etc. The protagonists in that movie go through horrible things, and tragic seems to be the go-to for queer cinema. And it's fine to have tragic queer movies. It's okay, it's okay to watch sad queer movies, and it's also fine to create queer joy, which we just learned about. In Scream 6, Mindy's girlfriend, Annika here, spoiler alert, she dies. And brutally, I might think. And people who made a connection with the couple, have the right to be upset that the queer representation in Scream ended in tragedy. As stated in The Day New Queer Cinema Said, "Let's do this," and this is quoting it, "New queer cinema didn't tug at the heart, it kicked the crotch." But I do think in a movie franchise where queerness had to be sought out for, it is very understandable why some people could have been at least a little upset over what happened. The only representation they had in a big genre of film was killed off. And we're just gonna go on to the next slide. Now, overall, we're gonna just talk about the queer coding of films. Queer coding has been something that has been a thing for a very, very long time. I just learned that people queer coded The Wizard of Oz from the 1930s, and it's I think it's something very, very interesting that even a long time ago people were looking for things to see themselves in. And as of today, queer coding is something that looks like it's not something that's going to stop if there isn't a lot of queer representation. Now, overall, the main thing in my topic is queer coding, or the queer gaze. Queer coding is something big that allowed for the queerness of Stu and Billy to happen. Queer people are seen queer in a lot of things and a lot of films because they don't have what they want to connect to. They don't have the representation that is just like them, which is why they see things a certain way. And I think it's great that people do that. I think it's nice that they are able to see those kinds of things, since they don't have their own things, unfortunately, to look at. And they should keep doing that, really. I, as a straight woman, don't have a say in what one person can do, but, it's not something that's a big bother, and although there are many people that care a lot about what queer people do, what queer people say, I think it shouldn't really be a big deal. It's the least that they themselves can do in seeing queerness in movies. That's the one thing that they can do because they don't have anything to look on. So there's really nothing bad about queer coding films or songs, anything at all. And it's really, nothing's gonna stop them, which, is perfectly fine. Queer coding is something that is gonna keep happening, whether people like it or not. There are a lot of arrogant and horrible people out there that care a lot about what people do in their life. But I guess you can say that overall, we can see from this presentation that Billy and Stu are queer, since the writer himself is gay, so he had in mind that sort of connection. So that will be all for my presentation. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you.